How's it going? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Joseph J. Alexander. I'm the producer here at the Full Circle Radio Network. Welcome to another edition of Catharsis. I was hoping I wouldn't have to do one of these this week, but well, here we are. Strangely enough, this seems to be a culmination of the last two episodes rolled into one and a continuation. I can't, and I know I say that a lot on the show, but I can't. I can't. This chucklefuck has been in office for 4 days. And already, the stupidity, the insane stupidity. So, catch y'all up. As you can probably tell by the title of this episode, World's Still on Fire. I did mention briefly in the last episode about the California wildfires, things going on there. Unfortunately, they're still happening. Some have been subdued, but some other ones have broken out, unfortunately. So it's still a disaster in motion. I also talked about the stupidity of the things that this fucking idiot was going to do the moment he got in office. And here we are. There's a bunch of things I really wanted to touch on, but there's so much, and there really shouldn't be so much when it's only been 4 fucking days. But unfortunately, like I said, here we are. So, and when I'm recording this, it's early afternoon on the 24th of January, 2025. So as I'm recording this, more things may be coming out that I don't even know of. I put this off until the afternoon because of other things that have popped up that were relevant for what I wanted to discuss. And I wanted to pull them up. I will always, as I have, I will share the links of the media in the bottom, because there's actually, like I said, there's an entire other topic I wanted to touch upon that it's getting thrown out the window for now. It's getting thrown out. I'm just handling the stuff regarding disaster relief right now because there's other stuff. There's so much other stuff. So I'm going to be bouncing back and forth through a couple of videos here. I will be sharing these on my screen, so you'll see me on the side. As I said, I will give credit where credit's due to some of the creators. I'm not giving credit to Fox News because fuck them. The only reason I'm using some of their clips is because one of the interviews originated from there. So I kind of have to use it. But yeah. So basically, the liar in chief has he's already done a bunch of fuckery, but he sat down for an interview. He sat down for a circle jerk with his buddy Sean Hannity. And I know this is painful. Trust me, if I didn't have to, I wouldn't. But I do have to pull up these clips. Trust me, I don't want to. I don't want to look at this motherfucker any more than you do. Trust me on that. But it needs to be acknowledged. So let's start off. And I'm going to, as I did with the clips before, I will be breaking in possibly at certain times to interject or maybe throw up some other interjections, as you'll see. And like I said, bear with me because I'm a one-man show. But yeah, I hate this fucker.
What do you do? Sanctuary states, by definition, or sanctuary cities,
states,
they're aiding and abetting in the law breaking. Okay, they're going to get federal funds.
Yeah. We're trying to get rid of them. We're trying to end them, and a lot of the people in those communities don't want them. You know, California is a big
Would you
example.
cut off their money?
I might have to do that. Sometimes that's the only thing you can do. No, California is a great example of it. If you actually poll the people, they don't want sanctuary cities, but Gavin Newsom does, and these radical left politicians do. And, you know, if you asked them why, they couldn't even. I watched Gavin Newsom try to answer that question. He was unable to even answer. He looked like an idiot. He was unable to answer. I asked him one other question. Why is it that you don't want millions of gallons of water a day pouring throughout California? You know, the farmland in California is, they say, the equivalent of Iowa, great land.
And he uses this point and other clips I'm going to bring up, so I'm going to circle back around to it later on.
But it's got no water. And you sit there, and it's literally, you can see it burning. It's on flame.
Sure.
All they need is water, and they have big farmland.
Yeah, the farmland's on fire. Don't you know the farmland's on fire?
And I ask him, why? How is it possible that you're not allowing this water? They divert it out to the Pacific Ocean where it drops into the ocean.
No, they fucking don't.
And you know what it's like? It's like nothing. To the Pacific Ocean, it's like 2 glasses of water. It's nothing. Millions of gallons of water is diverted way up north in California into the Pacific Ocean. That water, you know, they have the pipes in it. It's half pipes. You see them all the time. Half pipes.
This dumbass thinks because he sees people skateboarding in half pipes in LA that those are for water.
People live in those half pipes now.
People don't.
You know, they have homeless living in those half pipes.
No, they fucking don't.
But this is water that millions of gallons of water a week and a day in some cases, you know, depending on the flow. So much water they wouldn't know what to do with it. Your sprinklers would be filled. They can even, remember when I took criticism because I said you have to manage your forests. The head of a country that lives in forests, a number of them actually, Finland told me this, Austria told me this, head of Austria, head of Finland. And it was beautiful the way they expressed it. They said, we live in a forest. We are a forest nation. That's beautiful, isn't it, to say that? We have.
Okay. I'm going to pause right there. All right. I'm a pause for a second. Finland, Austria. You know something Finland and Austria have in common? I'll give you a little hint. It's something that the state of California has not witnessed since the month of May. You know what that is? I believe that Orange Chucklefuck actually said it before. It's called rain. It comes down from the heavens. They haven't had rain since fucking May. And then, okay, number one, they're not dumping fresh water into the Pacific Ocean. That's not happening. That's not fucking happening. They're not diverting anything. There's reservoirs in California. But let me put this into perspective for you. Yes, California is all one state. Sure. However, I'm in New England. I have a friend who lives in North Carolina. How stupid would it be if anyone talking to me said, well, why don't you just turn on the water in Connecticut and that way North Carolina can have their water? You look at them like they have 3 fucking heads, because that's not how that works. You're talking about thousands of miles of coastline. Just it's an 18-hour drive from me to Charlotte if I'm speeding. But this guy thinks you can just turn on a faucet and the people down outside a Panthers game are going to get water in the water fountain. These are things that a 5-year-old fucking understands, but this idiot doesn't. And this is the tip of the iceberg. It's just, oh my God, because it keeps going. I don't want to. But I have to.
Forest fires. We manage our forests.
You can get a degree in forestry.
Well, they'll do cuts. Yeah. Can you imagine? But
yeah, also, he mentioned how they sweep the floors. Yeah, they're also Finland and Austria are a bit smaller than California. I don't know if you realize that.
you don't need much.
And also, they have amazing infrastructure, which is lacking here.
You have to clean the floors of the forest. You know, when they had forests, I go to see some of the sites. I watched in California. They use billions of dollars of money, and they just said, and look at what happened. Los Angeles, that's like a nuclear weapon went off. What's happened to Los Angeles? And
not quite. Is there significant damage? Yes. Does it look like a nuclear weapon went off? No.
That thing went for 4 or 5 days. Nobody was even fighting it because they didn't have any water.
Nobody was fighting it. They didn't have water. Nobody was fighting it. They just let it burn. They let it burn. Yeah, that's right. Oh, this is even better.
Their fire departments aren't funded properly. And the firefighters were brave as hell. They were fighting without water. I mean,
that's right. That's right, folks. That's right. That's right. That's right. They were fighting without water. Firefighters just got on the line and they were just like, come on, motherfucker. I'm going to punch the motherfucking fire. How stupid do you have to fucking be to think that firefighters are fighting fires without water? And stupid motherfuckers in middle America believe this shit.
They turn on a fire hydrant, there's no water that comes out, and they're sitting, and the fires are rushing at them at 30, 40 miles an hour. Those firefighters the
fires are rushing at them at 35, 40 miles an hour. So now they're punching the fires who are sprinting at them.
Brave. What happened to that state is incredible. And then you listen to, I remember when Ron DeSantis.
So here's the problem. The whole thing with the water is not coming out of the hydrants and all that stuff. Yes, there's a reason for that. For this, I would like to turn over to a broadcast that came out while I was formatting this show. And that is a video that Adam Conover released. As far as people who are extremely intelligent at what they say and just don't come out with bullshit, Adam Conover's on the top of that list. It's a shame that his show Adam Ruins Everything didn't get more seasons, because he was really helping some people learn some shit. But let me see here. Like I said, one-man show working. I believe it's this part. Hold on, because I got to jump around with Adam's things. So, yes, here we are. So about the water pressure thing, because his little buddy Elon had to jump in and try to talk about this stuff, so he decided to talk to a firefighter about why it isn't, because don't they have all these reservoirs? And he kind of got put in his place, and I would like to thank Adam Conover for that.
Still be standing. Elon was so excited to prove his little theory that he asked a real-life firefighter about it, just like a big boy.
All right, what about water availability?
So there was water. We have several reservoirs. Just an example, if we have one building burning, we could flow 1,000 gallons a minute on that one building. So the amount of water we're flowing, there really is no water system That's going to keep that pace.
That's right, Elon. The hydrants ran dry for the same reason your water pressure drops when someone starts the dishwasher while you take a shower. The system only has so much throughput, and hydrants are built to fight one house on fire, not 500. That's how water works, buddy. I guess it's not surprising you don't understand how it works underground, though. After all, you're the guy who thought he could solve LA traffic by building infinity tunnels. Ooh, maybe you could ask a real-life traffic engineer how that one would work, Elon.
I love that, man. But yeah, water doesn't come up from the hydrants because hydrants were designed to put out 1 or 2 houses, not 500. And when you have such a large acreage of land that is on fire, you're not going to have enough pressure to do so. On top of, okay, granted, and like I said, I'm going to link Conover's video because Conover has 1,000 good points in his video. And for me to just sit here and play it, I'd just be another reaction content idiot. And I don't want to do that. But the reservoirs got topped off before the drought that's been happening since May. So supplies get depleted. It happens. I believe I mentioned something about that on the last one. But then we got to get back to the stupidity of this moron. Where was I? I believe 540. Ugh. I hate him so much. Back it up a couple seconds just to be sure.
Fair enough. We do that. We got to help the people in North Carolina. They've been suffering.
Well, you know,
We agree.
that's what I want to do. That's why I'm stopping there first.
You're going to stop in
I'm
California.
That's right. Remember that.
stopping in North
Should the
Carolina
money be
first.
contingent on them practicing the science of forestry?
Well, I think this, I'm going to put a statement out today, I think, and maybe it's already written. I said, I don't think we should give California anything until they let water flow down into their.
It's from the north to the south.
This is a political thing. I don't know what it is. You know, they talk about the Delta smelt. It's a little tiny fish like this.
I went out.
They say it's an endangered species. Well, how is it endangered? No wonder it's endangered. It's not getting any water. How do you, if you have a fish and you're stopping the water, isn't that going to hurt the fish? You
I
know?
did a show in 2009 from the San Joaquin Valley, Devin Nunes' district,
Right.
and they wouldn't give thousands of acres of farmland water to protect that.
So because Hannity
Anyway,
said
you
it, he
see that
believes it.
now. I
It's
drove
crazy.
up the highway.
The
I was
Delta
with
smelt.
Devin Nunes, another Republican congressman, and I looked at these vast areas of land, and it looked like it was just burning. It was dark. It was
Terrible.
dry. And then there'd be a little patch, little tiny patch of green, beautiful green. And I said, why? How come all this land has these little patches? They said, that's all that we're allowed to farm because we have no water. I said, are you having a drought? No. They've turned off the water. They turned off the spigot from up north.
No, that's not how that fucking works. They turned off the spigot from up north. That's right. I'm going to go up to Niagara Falls and I'm going to turn off the spigot so that way the people in fucking Kentucky can't get their water. That's how that works, according to Trump. Also, this whole Delta smelt thing, it's a fucking lie. It's literally it's a fucking lie. But it gets better. It gets so much better. Like I said, I'm sorry I have to jump around. But yeah, it's like I said, the whole Delta smelt thing is a lie that he said that he said his people told him. Yeah, no, it was made up. You want to know who made it up? Adam will let you know.
More qualified to command an army of squirters? And then there was our new president, who played the flame blame game by pinning it on a helpless little fish.
You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called a smelt.
Oh, I get it. Trump's going with the classic smelt it, dealt it explanation. Man, he really does think like a middle school bully, doesn't he? Well, unfortunately, he's also as dumb as one because there was no lack of water. In fact, California's reservoirs were topped off after 2 years of rain.
That's right. He made up the shit about the fish. Just like how our old buddy Bill Maher was bitching about a plant, which, yes, partially endangered plant. However, like I said, watch Conover's video. He talks more about the other vegetation that aided greatly in the fires, and that's the chaparral, which, like I said, watch his video. When you're done here, go watch his video. Link below. Just make sure you like and subscribe here first, but please, link below. So, another one of his lies about a fish that wasn't true. Disproven. It's been disproven by people. But, hey, no, it's his narrative. It's his narrative, and people are going to believe it because they saw it on the Hannity. So it must be true. And then, nope, I already did that one. Thank God. I'm breezing through these clips because I'm so angry. Like I said, I hate having to put you people through this. I hate having to look at this fucking ugly mug.
Committee, which kept out a lot of pertinent
And how
information.
about the J6 committee? I call it the unselect,
You know something? No, I'm not gonna subject you to that. I can do another bit about the pardons. I'm concentrating on the fires right now. Concentrating on the fires. Because the rest of that is fuckery. But so that was recorded 2 days ago. And today, as I'm recording this, this fuckwad is traveling to North Carolina and to California about disaster relief. This is where things get interesting. So North Carolina is still rebuilding from all the hurricane stuff that happened a couple of months back. Of course, this motherfucker's claiming that Biden did nothing about it. FEMA did nothing about it. They've been working nonstop to help people. Like it's a big project. The hurricanes wrecked 3 fucking states. Like he doesn't understand it. But see, here's where we start having the issue. And I clipped it from that other interview, and I just don't want to go back to it. His new crusade is he wants to get rid of FEMA. He wants to get rid of FEMA. You know how he wants to get, it wasn't bad enough that he wants to get rid of the Department of Education. Now he wants to get rid of FEMA. FEMA, the people, the agency that helps with disaster relief. He wants to get rid of it. And this is where I'm going to tap the other clips that I have today. Actually, let me go back because there was one more clip from Conover. So before I go over to the other one, I just want to cover the other thing that Conover was talking about that I really wanted to touch upon. Let's see here. Sorry, like I said, I'm a bit scatterbrained because all of this, happening at the same time. It's hard.
From happening again. And that's been difficult because there's a lot of bullshit out there right now. As inspiring as it's been to see my city pulled together and support each other, and it really has been. It has made me love Los Angeles deeply. It has also been beyond terrifying to watch the disinformation machine spin up in real time and watch conspiracy theories and rumors and lies fly about
Right.
these fires and what caused them. In a time of crisis like this, it's essential that we get real information about what happened and how we can stop it from happening again, which is why it has been fucking disgusting to watch political hacks on the news use these fires that killed people and destroyed homes for nothing more than attacking their enemies.
Now, mind you, the reason I'm bringing this up is because a point he's going to get to, and that's something that I brought up during my whole Jimmy Kimmel versus Bill Maher thing, was Bill Maher talking about the budget cuts in LA.
People in politics they don't like. Like, look at fucking Jesse Waters from Fox News, whose theory apparently is that LA burned down because of woke.
This right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is the leadership of the LA Fire Department. I sure hope they know what they're doing.
Know what they're doing? Jesse, lesbians are the most competent sexuality. That's why they're first in the acronym. They lead the way. I mean, when it's life or death out there, is there anyone more qualified to command an army of squirters?
And there's one other bit. I'm really sorry that just the way I clipped this, I thought it was at the same time. I'm just going to skip ahead here real quick. There we go.
Maybe you could ask a real-life traffic
Yeah, it was
engineer how
after
that
Elon.
one would work, Ewan. Third up in the dumbass billionaire talking out of his ass club was LA Times owner Patrick Soon-Shiong, who said that the fires were caused because LA Mayor Karen Bass cut $23 million from the LA Fire Department's budget. And in this case, even Patrick's own fucking newspaper said that he was full of shit.
But apparently it was enough for Bill Maher to use it.
The boring truth, if you're interested in the details of municipal budgets, is that yes, some vacant personnel positions were cut, but the overall LAFD budget actually went up because the mayor gave all of the existing firefighters raises. Now, you can argue about whether or not that's good budgetary policy. The commissioner of the LAFD thinks it isn't. But the truth is that, cuts or not, the amount of money devoted to fighting fire in Los Angeles and Southern California more generally is so massive. These cuts would barely be a drop in the budget. The Los Angeles Fire Department has nearly 4,000 employees and a budget of $850 million. But they're just one small part of California's firefighting force. There's the LA County Fire Department with a staff of 5,000 and a budget of $1.4 billion. Then on top of that, there's the state firefighting agency CAL FIRE, which has a staff of nearly 13,000 and a budget of $4 billion. And that budget has doubled in recent years. It's basically an entire firefighting army. The money.
Yeah. So, Mr. Bill Maher with your I pay 13% tax. Fuck off. Once again, 1% asshole. Fuck off. Sorry, need to calm down. Imagine if I wasn't on mood stabilizers. Huh. So, like I said, link down to Adam Conover's bit below. It just dropped today. Also, he shared a link for donations, much like Jimmy Kimmel did. I'm going to put that link below as well, just because it helps. Like I said, you can donate $1, you can donate $1. It's it goes to help out. They're really looking for monetary collections now more than anything. But anyways, so getting back to the whole FEMA thing, this fuck landed in North Carolina this morning. And like I said, I have a very close friend in North Carolina. My heart goes out to her and her family. Actually, I have several close friends in North Carolina. This is one in particular I was thinking of at that moment. So the other clip that I want to bring up is actually just dropped an hour or so before I started. And that's from the Luke Beasley show. If you don't know who Luke Beasley is, he's a very talented young man. I came across him maybe 2 years ago, I think. His channel is worth a watch as far as if you're looking for someone to, talk about stuff that's not on cable news, very bright young individual. But let me make sure that I have that queued up to the right thing. That should be it. I'm going to back it up a couple seconds just to be safe. But yeah, this is the press conference that this idiot's at. Sorry, I'm an idiot. There we go.
Reforming and overhauling FEMA, or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good. I think when you have a problem like this, I think you want to go and whether it's a Democrat or Republican governor, you want to use your state to fix it and not waste time calling FEMA. And then FEMA gets here and they don't know the area. They've never been to the area. And they want to give you rules that you've never heard about. They want to bring people that aren't as good as the people you already have. And FEMA's turned out to be a disaster. And you could go back a long way. You could go back to Louisiana. You could go back to some of the things that took place in Texas. It turns out to be the state that ends up doing the work. It just complicates it. I think we're going to recommend that FEMA go away. And we pay directly. We pay a percentage to the state. But the state should fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that'll work out well. Just give them some money and the state will fix it. That's like, and Luke, like I said, I will link Luke down below too. Luke very much covers. He's like, that's not how FEMA works. It's not that like people just hold off until FEMA shows up and it's like, all right, everyone, we got it under control. No, that's not how FEMA works. This motherfucker, he already spent 4 years in fucking office and he didn't learn a fucking lick of fucking knowledge about what he was doing. By the way, my blood pressure is fine. Without medication. But he doesn't like everything. He wants to revert everything back to the states. Why? You know why he wants to do that? Is so he doesn't have to do anything. Because he doesn't know how to do anything. This is why people are like, well, why do we have these career politicians who want to become president? Because at least they're familiar with the system they're dealing with. That is why, up until this motherfucker came in, every single president of the last 100 or so years, more probably, held a government job before becoming president. Because when you are running the government, you should know what you are fucking doing. If your entire fucking work history revolves around working in a commercial kitchen, line cook, sous chef, all the way up to head chef, whatever. And then someone goes, be the head of the Department of Agriculture. You're not going to know what the fuck you're doing. And rightly so, you would admit it. Yes, I did steal that joke from Mitch Hedberg. All right, you're a cook. Can you farm? Yes, fine. Because I know someone's going to call me out on it. He doesn't understand. Plus, here's the other issue with that. Here's the major issue. And mind you, this is coming from someone who, if you look at a broken down map, I didn't pull one up because, well, I was busy trying to, hodgepodge together these clips. If you look at a map of states that receive the most in FEMA funding, like FEMA relief, like stuff like that, disaster relief. I want to say disaster relief. The states that receive the most are Texas, Louisiana, Florida, and California to a thing. But the thing is, California pays into the system. That's the thing, is all the states pay into the system that FEMA then uses. And California always gives more than what they take back. Whereas the other states, they're all red states. I live in Connecticut. So it literally, like, if I didn't care, I'd say go right ahead because it wouldn't affect me. Connecticut and Massachusetts, like our states never ask for disaster relief money. Ever. Like, knock on wood, I can't remember like the last time there was a really, really bad disaster up here where we needed FEMA relief. Like, and we've had floods, we've had blizzards, like they've subsided within a day or so. But, and granted, there's been damage. I mean, granted, like I can think of the last bit of floods. Like I know 2 bridges got taken out, like 15, like maybe 30, 35 miles from me. But still, like, it wouldn't affect my state, but it would affect those deep red states. I will tell you that, especially with climate change. You live in Florida, you live in hurricane swamp 24/7. Well, except for right now, it's fucking snowing. There's snow on Miami Beach, you dumb fucks, and you still don't want to believe that climate change exists. You dumb motherfuckers. I feel bad, but I don't. I have a very close friend who's a snowbird. Retired, buys a house in Florida to live there during the winter so they don't have to be in Connecticut and deal with the snow. Sorry. No remorse. Because I know who you voted for. But anyways, getting back, there was another clip that I really wanted to pull up that Luke mentioned. And let me see here. Let me make sure I get it queued up to the right spot. Because this is where it gets really bothersome. So the whole reason basically, good thing I did that. Anyways, you didn't hear it, so you don't know what's going on. So the reason he wants to break it back to the states is because he wants to hold funds for California hostage. Now, mind you, he's in North Carolina. North Carolina is still recovering. North Carolina needs more FEMA funding. They need more help. I mean, granted, FEMA's already there. It's not like they stopped. It's not like FEMA went there for like a week and then waited, said, like, well, let's wait until the election's done and then stop. They've been there nonstop. It's not like this dumb motherfucker doesn't seem to realize that. But so mind you, as he talked to stupid fucking aging Ken doll Sean Hannity, where he said, I think, it should be conditional whether California gets money because sanctuary cities. But North Carolina, they done love the Orange Goblin of Carolina, right? I don't know. Let's see.
Climate change. But then we get to why he wants this.
Away.
Mr. President, funding to Los Angeles because of its sanctuary city policy.
I want to see 2 things in Los Angeles: voter ID, so that the people have a chance to vote, and I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state.
Not how it works.
Those are the 2 things. After that, I will be the greatest president that California has ever seen. Well, I want the water to come down and come down to Los Angeles and also go out to all the farmland that's barren and
There
dry.
we go again with
they have land that they say is the equivalent of the land in Iowa.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. Let Luke finish, then I'll get back to it.
Which is
all right. So you're hearing there, is he saying that aid is dependent on them changing their voter laws?
Exactly.
In a way he sees as advantageous. We've talked about the photo ID discussion before, but is that what he's saying? Luke, I don't think I heard that direct connection. Oh, well, he doubled down later, so let's get more clarification.
You talked about conditions being placed on aid to California, voter ID and the like. Are there any conditions that you're going to put on aid to North Carolina?
we're going to do a lot for North Carolina. They've been very slow. I don't know why.
He said the quiet part out loud, by the way, and I'll tell you why in a second.
It's been so bad. This has been one of the worst I've seen. Katrina, of course, was something that obviously that was a long time ago. That was not good. but this has been very slow. I don't know if that was for political reasons because they lost the state. You know, Biden lost the state. Maybe he felt he doesn't care.
Hey, motherfucker! Katrina was during Bush, and Bush is a Republican, and Louisiana was still red.
Maybe there were other reasons. I don't know, but this has been very slow. By any standard, this has been very slow, and we're gonna make up for lost time.
No conditions, you're going to push for aid.
Well, in California, I have a condition. In California, we want them to have voter ID so the people have a voice, because right now the people don't have a voice because
North Carolina voted for me. I don't have any conditions for their aid. California didn't. I have policy changes I want to see.
Exactly, Luke. So yeah, so Louisiana, Katrina. Katrina happened during Bush. Y'all remember Kanye? George Bush doesn't care about black people. Katrina was during Bush, not Biden. You dumb motherfucker. Bush was a Republican. Louisiana was a red state. Was then, still is now. Unless you're thinking of the other hurricanes when you were campaigning, where you showed up to hand out a couple things and then leave. That was during Barack's time, and they were getting FEMA funding. You showed up for a photo op real quick to hand a fucking toy to a kid and then take off. But, you know, people don't want to remember that. But then, yeah, so North Carolina voted for me. They'll get money. California, I want to see your voter ID laws change, which is bullshit because as we all fucking know, anyone with a fucking brain knows that illegal immigrants didn't fucking vote in the election. They can't. But you want to keep changing because you think that that'll be the way that you'll win California. See, this is the thing that this old fucking boomer brain is what's getting this motherfucker in this bit. Because you see, California's a blue state. It has been. Well, you see, I remember back when California last voted red. Yeah. Because you see, California, the last time a president got California was Ronald Reagan, who this motherfucker idolizes. Because he was the first person to use the MAGA fucking slogan. So because Reagan won that state, even though it's because Reagan was governor of that state and because he was a fucking puppet of the fucking corporations. This is, like I said, do your research. This isn't like some bombshell that I'm dropping. Reagan was a puppet of the corporation since he was a shitty actor. And they put him into power. Literally at his fucking his inauguration speech, he was talking, and it was that I want to say Wells Fargo, but don't quote me on that. It was the head of a bank who was standing next to him while Reagan was still talking, and he goes, "Let's wrap it up." And lockstep, the president of the United States listening to a fucking oligarch. People want to act like. Yes, it's things are way more obvious now, but we've been dealing with oligarchs and dark money in politics for 50 fucking years, dude. Going all the way back to Nixon letting healthcare privatize with Kaiser Permanente. All the way back that way. Probably before that too. Honestly, it goes back to Eisenhower's farewell speech where he talked about the military-industrial complex. But I'm going off on a tangent. I can talk about that on another episode of Catharsis. Right now, I'm talking about the fires, and I'm talking about FEMA relief, and I'm talking about this dumb motherfucker not knowing his goddamn job. So, you want to kick it back to state rights? Fine. Here's your hypothetical that happens. California will take their funding that they have, because that $4 billion that Adam Conover mentioned, that's raised by their state. That's not FEMA funding. That comes from the 13% tax that I pay. Quote Bill Maher. California has the money. They can handle their own if you really want to throw it back that way. Because it's not like this is going to pass overnight. And trust me, there is such a thin, razor thin margin in Congress for a bill to give them funding to get shut down. Like, you're going to have a couple of people from the other side of the aisle with enough compassion to go, we got to put out the fucking fires. I'm not worried about that. But him trying to get rid of FEMA is just another in a long line of stupid takes from this aging moron who doesn't understand how the fucking government works. And just because you don't understand how something works doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want and go, these are the rules now. This is the equivalent of, how do I put this? This is the equivalent of the, here, I'll make it a real easy comparison. Like I said, I live in Connecticut. So this would be like if I went to a baseball game at, football. Say I went to a football game at Yale. And the quarterback is losing. Like, the Yale's losing. So the quarterback goes over to the referees and says, that entire side of the stadium loves me. And I'm rich. My family's rich. My family owns mansions all over the fucking Eastern Seaboard. So you know something? Now my next touchdown is worth 45 points. That's not how that works. You know the fucking rules. And if you're too ignorant to fucking abide by the rules, it doesn't mean you can change them. Because that's what he's fucking doing. And he's got stupid Nazi boy. Sorry, I'm not even monetized right now, so fuck it. He's got stupid fucking Elon doing Roman salute. I will get to that next week. Granted, it'll probably be old news because our news cycle moves so fucking fast, but he doesn't understand that you just can't change things because you don't want to do work. I mean, he sat there and bitched about having to sign all those executive orders the other day. Motherfucker, you're the one that fucking said you were going to do it. You're the one that said you were going to do it. And then you did it. Oh, no. Would your hand get a little cramped? Because you had to sign your name so many times. Why don't you just get a rubber stamp? That's all you really need to fucking do. No, you got to make sure your John Hancock is on it because it's so big and thick. You know, that is such a fucking that is such a Freudian fucking slip right there with the way, because he signs everything with a big fat Sharpie because he's looking, look, my signature is like my dick. It's big and thick. No, bro, everybody knows it's not. But getting back to what he mentioned with the land is like Iowa. No, it's not. No, it is not. The farmland in Southern California has lost its nutrients over the past 75 years because of how badly it has been farmed. And honestly, if you want to compare it to Iowa, they did a sequel to Food Inc. It came out this past year. Watch them talk to the Iowa corn farmers, where he goes, our soil is depleting. Our good soil is depleting, where you can go along the edges of the property and see where the soil used to be and where it is now, because we have just farmed and used so much topsoil that he doesn't seem to understand that topsoil has nutrients in it that need to be replenished naturally. And there's only so much tilling of the soil you can do before the soil is unusable and becomes, he doesn't understand. He's never heard of the Dust Bowl. I guarantee you he's never heard of the Dust Bowl, which I know a lot of people haven't because, well, I remember learning about it in elementary school, but I went to elementary school 35 fucking years ago. But the Dust Bowl happened because there was no rain and there were no nutrients in the soil. So it just all started blowing around, causing the dust storms. Which, if you watch Idiocracy and you wonder why Mike Judge mentions the dust storms in it, that's why. Because even Mike Judge knows. But he talks about the land and he's like, look, it's on fire. No, it's not on fire. No, SoCal's on fire, not this. But he says, there's a little patches of green. And they go, what's that? So, that's all the land that we're allowed to farm on. No, that's all the land that they can farm on right now because the rest of the topsoil needs to replenish. It's called crop rotation. Once again, something I learned about in elementary school that apparently they don't teach anymore. Crop rotation happens so that the topsoil doesn't lose all its nutrients. Crop rotation happens when you can only use a field every other season or every 3 seasons, yada, yada, yada. Because you'll see people go, nothing will grow in that field. Well, that's why. This, that, and the other thing. You have to fertilize it. And the problem is, between chemical fertilizers and companies taking out patents on seeds so that you have to fucking you have to buy new seeds every fucking year for plants where you should be able to just save and reuse your own seeds, it's becoming more of an issue and stuff won't fucking grow. Chemical fertilizers and chemical weed killers, like, it ain't the same as it was back in the fucking 40s. Like, that's why, a couple episodes back I talked about, joining a CSA for your local farms if you live somewhere where it's, you don't have a fucking giant factory farm, because they're not using that shit to the nth degree. Tangent. But also, let's go back to they're not allowed to use the water. They need to turn on the faucet at the top of the state. No, you see, number one, once again, you can't turn on the water in Connecticut and it makes a water fountain and sprinklers in Charlotte go on. That's not how that works. But number two, there's farmland in SoCal and there's you can find the videos on YouTube. You can find the old educational shorts about factory farming, and they call it truck farming, where it shows the irrigation systems they had to build for SoCal because SoCal was a desert. It wasn't designed for farming. They had to make it into an area for farming. But also, for devil's advocate, let's say there is all this water in Northern California. You know who needs that water in North Carolina? In Northern California, you know who needs all that water? The biggest business in Northern California. The fucking wine industry. Sonoma, NorCal, Washington State. It's where all the vineyards are. The vineyards, and to a lesser extent, but still the hop plantations now because of the beer boom over the past 20 years. Yakima Valley, Washington comes to mind. All the farms up there with the fertile soil and the vineyards where the vines keep growing back every year. Those vineyards are using water up there. They need that fresh mountain water to water to water their vineyards so they can keep producing wine, because wine is a gigantic fucking industry. And and it's an industry that is taxed very well. A lot of tax dollars come from alcohol. I know a lot of people want to bitch. Why is marijuana still illegal? Alcohol is not. And I'm not saying anything's any better, even though I don't. Tangent. Not going to go there. But the alcohol industry brings in billions a year in tax revenue. So that area where you're saying all the water is, even though it's not how that works, the vineyards are using the water up there. It's not as simple as turn on a faucet that this fucker's talking about. It doesn't happen that way. It's not. I mean, there was an article that just came out about them finding like 30 billion gallons of fresh water underneath a mountain aquifer. And already, like, there's going to have to be people like praying for it, because there's something else that happens where all of these natural aquifers are in Northern California and in all the northern states along the U.S. And that's Nestle buying up the reservoirs that aren't municipal to make bottled water. I'm only bringing that up because I know that's something that wasn't brought up in Adam Conover's video that I really wish he would have touched upon. But already, we're not even a week in, and this fucking moron is already trying to hold funds hostage for one state, play favorites with another, gut the government so he doesn't have to do work. Like, we just got in the car. We're on a 4-year road trip. We just got in the fucking car. Dude. And really, I'm just a voice yelling into the abyss. I know I am. But I need to do it. Words need to get said. Especially when every time I look, there's another fucking of these right-wing morons popping up with a podcast, spewing stupidity. And then you always find, and I'm seeing this because, like I said, link to Luke Beasley down below. He's had to deal with it a lot because he's actually like gone out and tried to debate some of these idiots. Some of them are just straight up criminals. And then he gets threatened by, it's always the same fucking hillbilly fucking meth mouth looking fucking morons who are all like, hey dude, you got it. Why don't you come debate me? I'll fuck you up, soy boy. So yeah, as long as there's stupidity like that, I'm still going to keep going. Why? Threaten me. See what happens. You want to meet me in a dark alley? Good. You have a story to tell. You can tell your illegitimate children how you lost a fight to a one-legged man in an S-kicking contest. Fuck around and find out. This has been my Catharsis. Please like and subscribe. Or don't. Leave a comment. Because I know some of you want to. That's the way it is. But that's all I got. Till next week, because I'm sure I'll be back. My name's Joseph J. Alexander. There's my socials. X, Twitter on the left, Blue Sky on the right. You can also find it down below. Subscribe to the channel. Like the Facebook page. Follow me on my socials. I'm fucking done. Later.